There is one we've created a
Yeah,
home.
maybe it's the internet.
So join the conversation, let's set the tone. In a circle podcast where love is
Peterson the
well
Great.
known. So join the conversation, let's set the tone. In a circle podcast where love is well known.
All right. Good evening, folks. We are here again, another edition. Tonight we have a very special topic. I would like to say welcome to you and good evening. Our topic tonight: should you disclose your sexual history with your partner or to your partner? Uh, and we have all our panelists up here tonight. Let's just go around and quickly introduce ourselves. I'll start with my co-host, and then we'll move to the right. That'll be Melvin, and then we'll come down to Peterson and the rest of the crew.
Abe Kamara, your co-host tonight, as always.
Melvin Zia, one of your panelists here.
Peterson, coming straight from Chicago, one of the panelists on the show. You're welcome.
Peterson, it looks like you slow mo today. What's going on? You took forever to come to that unmute button.
Yeah, but in slow mo.
Then it's B.
Oh, good evening, everyone. It's the girl, Miss B.
Good evening, everyone. It's Patience. You guys are welcome, and let's make this topic hot.
Hey,
Hi,
Titus here.
everyone. Titus
Oh,
out here
Winner, go,
first.
go for it, Winner.
Hi, everyone. We're not here. I'm excited.
I wanted to make you last, but I'll catch you. Titus here, guys. I'm glad to be here again. Come on, let's have the conversation.
Folks, if you're watching us, we'd like to say please take some time and share. This topic is a very interesting topic. This is one that we often see on our social media. We hear people being concerned about body counts, and I mean, does it matter? And so tonight we'll be discussing this topic, hearing from. As you can see, we have a very balanced platform tonight. We have three ladies in the house, and we have four men.
It's not
I will
balanced.
try to be very, very neutral tonight, so you guys can be even with perspectives tonight. So we encourage you to please share.
It's
We'll be
okay.
here
We
for
don't need you.
we'll be here for the next hour and a half. So we will start we'll start right off the bat. Let's start with Wina. Wina has been very excited about
I
discussing
really
this topic. So Wina, what's your take?
like sharing your sexual partners. I mean, let's talk. I think,
What's your take on no, not sharing?
what's my take on what?
On the
He, fr-
topic tonight.
he froze.
I give you.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
boost
What's
mobile
your take?
internet.
What's your take on the topic tonight? Should you disclose your sexual partners?
To be honest, I think it's
Your body,
necessary, y'all.
your
Like,
body
I
counts.
mean, you gotta do the body count. You gotta give a number, but I think you should disclose, like, your sexual partners. Don't give no numbers, though. That's not nobody's business.
Oh,
What should you disclose then? What aspect of it should you disclose?
I mean, you can talk about it like we all. I mean, every the person you're dating is not a virgin, so everybody is coming with a background in some sexual background. But you should share that. But if you're looking for a concise number, that's another story.
Is that even necessary though to gain a relationship from your perspective?
I don't think it is to be like, oh, let me check on my list. How many people you've been with? Like I said, you're meeting that person. They're not a virgin, neither is you. So as long you guys get the what they call the medical checks and stuff like that, yeah, do that.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for that take. Mel, what's your take on it?
Well, I think as it relates to the topics on discussion tonight, disclosing your sexual history of your past relationship with your current partner, I think it should be a personal decision somebody should make, and it just depends on other factors, right? One of it is just trust and openness. It depends on the relationship level where you guys are, and sometimes too, you kind of look at disclosing information for health issues. Basically, those are important when you kind of diving into health issues, because if you someone who have contracted STD in the past, you want to disclose that information. So I think it just rely on it depends on who you are with and the individual decision to kind of make and be like, yes, I have this X amount of people I did it in the past. It varies from people to people, and then also it rely on the relationship context where you guys are, right? Like what the level of where are we? Are we taking this serious, right? Then it's a conversation to have. So it varies. Individual basis, people will be open. Other people will decide not to be open. And then the last piece I'm going to touch is the comfort level. Are you comfortable sharing your past, relationship with your current partner? Once you are comfortable doing that, then I think you can do it. But if you are not, you shouldn't. And the last piece I'll kind of mention, I know I said last, is just don't allow anyone pressure you to disclosing certain information. Like you don't feel comfortable disclosing.
But when you met your current partner, did you guys go through that? Did you disclose that?
You're making this personal, but I'll touch that tonight. Here's what I would say to that.
But is it a personal decision?
Well, I'm not here to discuss my personal life. I'm here to discuss the topic. But as to answer AB question, my partner was not. She really don't care about my past. She focused on the future, and I myself personally don't really, care about her past. I want to focus on where we, met and where
Yeah.
we go, and those are key for me. So we didn't talk about those things. They were not important. Our focus was heavily focused on how can we build from where we are now moving in the future, not dig into to somebody's history.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Got it. Patience, what's your take?
For me, your past is your past. I really don't care what you did prior to me. All that really matter is once you're healthy, you're not bringing anything from the past into the future. But I don't believe in like doing the whole body count thing. You do you before me, that was you, and now it's me. It's just us. Let's figure it out. Let's move forward.
Why do you think there is even an issue? The whole issue of body count. If you meet someone, maybe like two young folks fall in love. I mean, should they even be discussing body counts or something? Is that
It's
even
not.
is it
It's
a necessary thing for a relationship from your view?
it's not really an issue. Men make that an issue. For us women, we don't really pay attention to how many women you've been with before you got to us. But for men, they're focused on that. Oh, I don't want to be with this person who been here, 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 and here, and all of those things. So men make an issue in a relationship more than a woman does.
Okay, thank you. Titus, what's your take on the topic tonight? What's
Yeah, so like everyone has said, I think this is a subjective topic, but again, I also believe there's a reason why men, like Patience just mentioned, kind of attach some significance to this body count issue. Some men they aren't comfortable. They receive a certain perspective based on the amount of persons a woman has been with. It could give him some messages. It could give him some, different interpretations. It could talk a lot about this woman behavior, how she's making decisions, what's her sexual behavior is like, what is what practice it like, and like Mel said
why?
earlier.
Yeah, why do you think men make it an issue? I mean, should they even matter in a relationship? If you meet someone you love, why do
Well,
you
that
think the whole
something doesn't matter to one person doesn't mean it doesn't to another person. So
does
again,
it
it's
matter? Does it matter to you personally if you enter a
I've
relationship?
never care about a woman's sexual history. And fortunately for women who've been with me, they've really never. I don't know if they've cared, but they've never really asked me like, "Oh yeah, how many ladies you've been with out here?"
So
But
you're not.
again, just because personally that doesn't matter in my situation doesn't mean that other people do not attach cultural, personal, religious significance to this topic.
Okay, thank you. Miss B, what's your take? Should body
I
counts
mean,
now?
maybe because I don't have much of a body count, I've disclosed in the past, but now that I think about it, nobody has ever really asked me. Um, I've never even known for anybody to ask in like girlfriends or, my friends who are now wives for their spouses or their past boyfriends to ask them. In as far as for the Black community, I don't know of that happening, but I will say I know those conversations happen for the white community. That is something they prioritize, probably even asking on the first date.
Hmm.
Um, if not early in the relationship. So after a couple weeks of dating, they will say, well, what is your past history? How many people have you slept with? I know that happens in that community. I will say, like Mel said, it would be important to know if you have an STD, not if you had it, but if you have something that's permanent and uncurable, that would be nice to know. And I feel like I don't know if our community even thinks about that, right? Because again, Black women, we are the highest when it comes to AIDS and HIV. And even so, here in Minnesota, the data shows that we are the highest population of women, Liberian women, when it comes to contracting the disease, unfortunately. And I bet you it's largely due to the fact that this is not a cultural norm for us to ask this question or
So,
even disclose it, unfortunately.
so why do you think it's a cultural norm in a Caucasian community, but not a cultural norm, but not a conversation happening in our community?
The transmission of sexual disease and the history that has happened in this country, I think is something has become made it to become a norm, right? And because they have been doing it more historically, that's why less and less of their community is contracting the disease, right? And more of them are living healthier lives with it too, because they're more educated on what to do and preventative measures. You can have a partner that has AIDS and take medication. As long as they're taking the medication, it's gotten so much better where they won't even give you the disease anymore. So that
Okay.
lessens that fear.
Okay. So here's the thing: is Linda here is active here tonight. It's a men making an issue because they are compass systems, so they're projecting it on themselves. So, guys, Peterson, do you think men making an issue because, especially in our community, because hey, we are all over here trying to increase our body counts and make sure, hey man, to to say, what I mean, it's a status symbol to see how many women you have slept with.
Yeah, so I think that's overgeneralizing the issue because not every man has close to like 10, if we want to say body counts. And I mean, there's whole issue of um, asking or disclosing. I think, like Ms. B alluded to, is in our culture, in our community, most people are, the thing is like, if you ask that question, they answered, they might be shagged. So a lot of people do not want to ask because once again, we are so personal about it. We're so quiet about things. We're not open, and people, honestly, people make it an issue. Like most men, they will put a pause on like trying to go after somebody if the person, number one, doesn't openly tell them, or if they find out like, oh, okay, this person been here and there, and we're talking about like conscious decision that the person made. So if somebody's had like 10 previous partners and a man hears it, a lot of them will like pause like, okay, can I take this person serious? Because if they've been here and there, that means I could be just another one on the list and they will move on. And there's that stigma with the number of people that somebody's been with and there's certain interpretation within the culture. So
Okay.
I think that's why a lot of men make it an issue.
Do you think? Do you think? Titles, no, May, I'll go to you. Do you think it should be like an educational stuff? I mean, should we do that more in our community, in the Black community, like Miss D was alluding to? Should we do that more? That's something we should encourage more. Is if other communities are doing it, should we do that more in our community? Whether it determine if two partners are going to move forward, should we do that more? Should we encourage that?
I would say yes. Again, like I said from the inception of my statement, it's a personal decision. But
So
us African,
if you believe that we should encourage that, why do you think it should be a personal decision?
well, in as much as it encourage as to create that openness, it still has to be a personal decision that you are willing to make as an individual. Now, diving back into our culture, right? Our orientation is different, or maybe the way we were raised and the way things happen when we're coming up. We don't really talk a lot, right? We don't talk about things that are important to us and things we should disclose. So, leaving that culture and making that transition, that has a significant impact on what you do holistically with your life. It's not just limited to the topic on a discussion, but limited to that. So it played that impact on the way we're not open enough to
Okay.
discuss certain things. We are not free enough to discuss certain things. We think about the implication and the aftermath that will happen.
Okay.
It plays that it has a psychological impact on us to not discuss certain things.
Okay. So, patience with everything that being like open on social media, we Liberians or the African, African, everyone share so much on social media. I mean, their personal lives, what they eat, whether it's cassava or whatever. If we are sharing all of those things, why should it be a taboo, basically, in our community that we are not sharing our body counts or disclosing that to our future partners?
Once again, like I said, not to put it on the men, but a man can sleep with 1,000 women. If a woman loves him, she loves him. That's who she chooses to be with, and she's gonna be with him.
Mhm.
But if the role is reversed, it's not gonna be like that. If you tell a man, say I slept with 20 plus men, they're gonna start looking at you like you're a little thought or something. Like this is not a wife. They go straight to you're not a wife material. In that head, that's exactly what okay, she been with X amount of people. So I can't go and wife her after she been with everybody else. And that kind of makes us to shut down too as female, like it have us keeping these things in because we want to get married, we want to settle down, we want to have a partner. So we're not comfortable. You guys are not creating a safe space for us to be able to tell you guys these things. You're holding it over our head and judging us on it. So it makes it really hard to have these conversations, especially the way the African society is set up. It makes it really hard for us to communicate. They have some men who are open to it. Like you guys can sit and have those conversations, and he would tell you right there, look, this is not for me. But you can only do that with so many people to the point where you're like, okay, maybe I should just keep that to myself because I have
Right.
told X amount of people and the relationship did not go anywhere.
Okay, thank you. So, Winner, how do you think a safe space can be created for such a conversation to be had in our
Well, first,
community and
first of
beyond?
all, I think it was either Titus or Mel. One of them said they talked about like one's tolerance level, right? I think a lot of the time that's something we don't take into account, or the maturity of that person. Like patient said, a lot of men will say, "Oh, I would like to know," but truth be told, they don't want to know because they lack that maturity to really comprehend what is being said. So in order to have that safe space, that person gotta be mature within themselves, secure within themselves to be able to have such a thorough conversation. It is a conversation that should be had, but like Patience says, if that maturity level is really at zero and that tolerance window is very bare minimum, they don't really see like a bigger picture, you're gonna be talking to a brick wall and you're not gonna get an outcome, you're not gonna get the result that you're hoping for. Right. So
Okay,
in order to create a safe space, start with let's look at that person maturity level on certain other conversations. Maybe not this one per se, but there's other conversations in the way in which they handle things, how to respond emotionally, intelligently. You'll be able to determine if this space is safe enough to have such conversation.
okay, Tyler, do you think we need to like basically what Winner is saying, like we men need to grow up, especially we Black men need to grow up to
Maybe
have
more
such
quiet one shot.
conversation?
No, I can miss
No,
you for a
straight up,
minute.
straight up. I agree with the ladies. It requires a level of maturity to have this conversation.
Mhm.
Not seeing them from a judgmental place really help uh, everyone, as most especially the women, to open up and talk about these things. Things happen. You never know what a woman has been through on her journey. So it requires maturity. And Pyron mentioned something. Um, one of the audience there, he mentioned something. He said the past is not just your past, right? True, the past is not the past is the best indicator, a predictor of future. At the same time, the present should not be used to judge the past. So the maturity level in this conversation you should approach the conversation with respect and the desire to understand that person, so that even if you have some tools within you to help that person, you can provide some help, some resources.
Okay, okay,
But
thank
yeah,
you.
that judgmental
Yeah.
standpoint is why women shut down a lot.
Yeah, Linda is saying here, that men are biased, and to your point, right, like judgmental. How can we, Miss B, work on a whole bias, be judgmental piece? How can a conversation where it can come to a point, like, because as you referenced earlier, right, it's very important for this conversation to be, in our community, is, but we don't have it. How can we kind of try to get rid of those biases, get rid of those judgmental things, and things like that, for this conversation to be had in our community?
So, like, for instance, I may have single girlfriends, and people may say, oh, birds of a feather flock together. And I'll be like, well, that's of her past. They'll try to convince me not to be friends with certain females because they have a history of having multiple partners. And I would say, well, this is who I know now. And for who I know now, that is not what they're about. They're trying to learn from their past and do things differently, right? And I think oftentimes that kind of a past can be forgivable if, like we're saying right now, if you disclose it. Because ultimately, if somebody's going to love you and want to be with you, they're going to need to love and accept every parts and parcel that comes with you. It's like when you meet a man and he already has kids and you decide to continue to be with that man, you're accepting everything that comes along with him, right? If he has a criminal past or whatever and you decide to be with him, you accepting all of that. So I feel like it really, if we want to continue to have the healthy relationships that we're talking about, it starts with that. Being transparent about everything. Because in history, we all go to school, we learn history. Why we continue to learn history? Because we need to know the history in order to be able to plan better for the future. And so it can't be your past is your past, and whatever you did in the history has nothing, in the past don't have nothing to do with me. It really does have something to do with you, especially when it comes to parenting. Now, like, how can you parent with somebody if you don't understand how they grew up? What are some of the things they went through, right? And so I think having discussions about your past history of who you've been with is very important for the relationship. And I will say, let's do that more.
Yeah,
Let's do
Mel.
that more. A lot of things to be avoided.
Mel, who do you think should initiate when a man and woman meet for the first time? Who do you think should initiate such a conversation? I know, I know, like an issue. I mean, normally based on what I'm hearing here, right? The men are biased, so sometimes they don't even want to maybe start that conversation. I mean, if a female initiate that conversation, what do you think? Like in your, like if it ever happens to you, what would be your reaction?
Well, I think she wants to know, and there might be reason why she wants to know. I will want to know why. The female will want to know. That would be my stand on that. Just asking her, why is that important to you? How is that going to help us move forward? Understand her. Maybe she might experience something in the
Yeah,
past.
Miss B is saying the transparency. If we guys maybe plan to be long term, partners for life, the transparency, everything should be open book. So she's initiated that conversation. I mean, what would be your reaction?
Yeah, like I said, I'll basically being transparent. Yes, being open and honest. And again, it be this conversation here is suggested. It's not something we can kind of
No, no,
say
no, yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah,
what it is set in stone, right?
yeah.
We you have to assess the situation as a person who will be asked. such a question, as a male. I think if you want to be with the person and that's something they value to move forward with, you should be honest with them and tell them the truth. Like, this is what it is, and this is what I've done. This how many people I've seen in my past. But then, how is that important to you? It boils down to that question. So yes,
Okay,
I think, yeah, if they ask me that question, it depends on who asking it. I want to understand your point and want to understand where that is coming from.
okay, Peterson, do you think, I know we discussed one of our topic here was the epidemic of cheating, in our community. Do you think the reason why cheating is rampant in our community is because we are not having this kind of conversation? I mean, the body counts and I mean, all those stuff. Is that a reason?
Yeah, I mean, it probably plays a part in it. I wouldn't say that's the main reason, but it probably plays a part in the sense that if you meet somebody and they're not honest about their past relationships, whether you initiate that conversation or they voluntarily tell you, then that means they're not being held accountable because you're not going to. And if we say, yeah, the person's past is their past and we're moving forward, but we all also say that, yeah, your past, you went through some experiences, and this is the person you are now based on your history, whether it had a negative or positive impact on you, it brought you to this point. So, in order to move forward, uh, if this person, are they, have they always had this habit of not being consistent, not being in like a long-term relationship? Are they here and there? And that's a indicator to say, okay, this person, they might not settle with me, they might not stay with me, or even if I am in a relationship with them, they might still have this ongoing.
Okay, folks, the
Can I
discussion
say
is very.
some? Can I say something?
Winner. Folks, the discussion is very, very heavy tonight. It's loaded
It's
with a whole
heavy
lot of
though, and
Yeah.
I
comments.
got plenty.
So hey, if you want to join the discussion, please, you can comment, or you can also call us on our number to contribute to the conversation. If you have something important to say, call 612-516-3349. 612-516-3349. And the topic tonight, should you disclose your sexual history to your partner? Meaning, should you disclose any man or women you've been with? Is that a conversation to be had? So again, like River says here, I mean River says Pro is saying here, right? Especially with Liberians or Africans, most of us never had this kind of conversation. That's what I think. That's what he's alluding to here. When he was a child, these kind of talks were forbidden because hey, your parents will probably say, hey, get the whatever out of here, right? Or they will take a switch or whatever for you. So is that the experience of most of the panelists here? Titus, I will start with you.
As I stated initially when I was opening, the reason that this is part of the reason some folks will have some kind of significance on this topic, again, because of that cultural background. I also believe that in some religious settings, these conversations are probably taboos, right? So not necessarily in my neck of the woods, how I grew up. We were encouraged to speak up and what have you. My parents pretty
Okay.
much um kind of promoted outspokenness in our village.
Sure.
But yeah, these things happen everywhere. They happen all the time. And
Okay.
I'll add that if this conversation were to ever happen at the beginning of a relationship, the
Yeah.
man is more open to this type of conversation, because if when you talk about body counts, this is more of it can be
If you
likened
see the
to.
man's open, how is the man open? Is he open with a
Their
I'm
free
coming
ego
mind?
is
there.
Is
not
it
open,
open?
baby. Don't do
Wait,
that.
He's
wait, wait,
not.
wait,
I'm
He's
coming
wait,
not
there.
open.
wait,
Their
I'm
ego,
coming there
there it
right
is.
now.
Can you please hold
Nope.
please a little bit, please? If you see the man is open, is it open with a free mind? It's like no, not being
Mm-mm.
judgmental, no bias, nothing. He's open. It's hey, let's have a conversation.
I think when you ask that, it brings
Mm.
some limitations to it. I think some men are very judgmental, as I've said in the past.
So
But as far
how can it be
but as
open to a
far as
conversation? How can it be open to a conversation when you're going to start with a bias? I mean, from a
and
bias.
that is an area for improvement, right? That is an opportunity to
Don't tell
improve
it, man.
on. But
Okay.
as far as providing that body count, that number, because there is a sense of conquest behind it. When you talk about body count, like in the military, is how many people a guy has killed. You know, that there's a sense of psychology, there's a sense of conquest behind it. So a
Okay.
man will be more comfortable telling a woman, "Hey, I've did this," than a woman would be comfortable telling a man that.
Okay, Winner, let me go to you. So hard here tonight. So first of all, what were you trying to say? And then from there, I'll move to my
What did
question.
he
Well,
say?
what I was trying to say here, y'all, tonight is that
Mhm.
somebody made a comment. The person said, I'm going to read it because I have my iPad just to keep up. He
Good.
Yeah.
says, the Purim Enterprise, whatever. He says that the dumbest thing anyone can do is marry a prostitute or womanizer thinking their
Oh
past is
boy.
just a past. But that's not even what kind of take me a little bit. He said multiple partners, especially in women, usually leads to personality disorder. Why are you giving a disorder when you haven't even do the we haven't even do a real diagnostic assessment. Don't pull a disorder here because I live in DSM-5. Let me just tell you that. So that's my specialty. I live in DSM-5. So don't just call disorder need because a woman is promiscuous or decide to have multiple partners. And then he can't even back it up with good statistics. Cool down. But my thing here is like what not Mel, Titus is saying. These men are egoistic. We understand they were created with the ego lens, right? We understand that piece. Like we understand that. There's nothing wrong with disclosing to your partner. Like when you have that understanding, you'll have been committed and everything. Nothing wrong with that. But baby, these men ego is bigger than the head. So how do you have this conversation with someone that is so their lens that they're seeing through a lot of the time is from the egoistic perspective? Like how do you have that kind of conversation? That's
So
my
if you go,
question tonight.
so if you go in there though with a preconceived notion, I say men are egotistic.
But they are. I'm not saying so.
But that's a
Egos drive a
preconceived,
lot of
that's a
things. So egos
preconceived
has a
notion.
pro.
So you, in that
Hey,
case,
there's
you
a
are being
pros and
judgmental as well.
cons. If there's no,
Ben
what I'm trying to
judgmental.
say with ego, there's a pro and cons with being an ego because your ego can drive you into a lot of things and drive you into success to keep going and keep pushing. But what I'm saying, in certain conversations, our ego can become a hindrance to us. That's what I'm trying to say here.
So
No, I
okay,
think
Miss B, go
I,
ahead. Go ahead.
I think men are the reason for all of this, right?
Oh
Because
Lord.
you,
Okay. Go ahead. Go
yes,
ahead.
God
Yeah.
should have created us first, and then He would
Mhm.
have just stopped right.
Right? Then he
You
created
feel
us.
it? All would have been done. But
Why you think God should have created you
because
first?
men don't have honest conversation about women with other men. They don't have honest conversation with other about women with because they'll go and sleep with one person, right? Instead of coming back and being honest about what that experience is, or if that or maybe that girl is done with them and not the other way around. Oh yeah, don't mind her. Her stuff is not functioning anymore. You know, they'll just have such bad conversation about the female body that are just myths, right? You know, exaggerating.
Projection.
Yeah, exaggerating size and stuff. It's a muscle.
Okay.
It's a lie. What everybody wants to say, it does not happen the way
Wow.
you think it's going to
Wow.
happen. The amount of people you be with does not change that
Mhm.
Exactly,
muscle.
because
That
we
muscle
carry
changes.
babies.
Okay, wait,
But
Yeah,
then
that
wait,
why
wait,
muscle
would they
ladies,
changes.
put it
wait,
in the
ladies,
dossier?
wait, ladies. You guys,
Who is in a better
what's your,
position
wait,
to
Tyler,
speak on that?
I'll go to Mel. Mel, what's your reaction to what Miss B is saying here?
Miss B,
What's your
stop it.
reaction to that? Yeah, what's your reaction?
I was leading the conversation and you want to shut me down to get a male perspective. And then
No,
Exactly. The
Titus
same
gonna
ego
ask
we're
Oh
me,
talking
Lord.
about.
yes. Then Titus gonna ask me, who better? What do you mean who better, boo?
No.
Who
I
better?
said who is in a better position to
That's
speak
what you
on
guys
what
think.
what
That's what
you're
you guys
speaking on.
that's what you guys think that you're in a better position. That's just where it is. It's all in your head.
Yeah.
So it's
And
all a
The
so
mind
because
game.
ego,
Titus is
the
not gonna
Yeah.
be
ego,
under
the
Yeah,
ego.
Okay,
it's all
guys,
it's
let's
all
not
in your
talk.
Titus
head.
will
Let's
not
Wait,
be
no, wait.
honest
Okay,
about
Miss
his
B, go ahead.
interaction.
Yeah.
And
make it hot. Make it
Titus
hot.
won't be honest about his interaction. He will go and lie to Mel about his interaction. Mel will go there and lie to Peterson about his interaction. And then you built all these things in the atmosphere that make us look bad for something that you yourself do. And that is why I say you guys are responsible for all of this. It takes you guys to have the conversation differently and start selling such a bad image that was basically happening probably due to your ego. You probably weren't productive.
And you probably ain't
You
got
probably
the throat.
you probably not well packaged.
Exactly.
You probably not well packaged. She probably was done
It
with
probably
you.
wasn't. It wasn't even worth
Not
it
You
to
know,
be killed
sufficient,
as
and
and that
somebody.
you're gonna start something you won't
It
end.
probably
Stop it.
wasn't worth it.
Go ahead, Miss B. Go ahead.
and so and just because you and the part and the woman is alone together, because you are the men, you get to control the narrative. It can always be that you were the problem in that situation, but because you are the men, you get to carry that narrative. And that's the unfortunate thing. Like, men lie on their stuff all the time. There's a lot of y'all I know who claim y'all slept with so and so, but she was like, "No, I can sleep with 50 men." That particular one, I chose not to go there because he wasn't going to be worth my time. And so that too should be a part of the conversation. The narrative you guys create and the way you have these conversations with your friends is why women are being looked at this way.
Okay, so here's this comment. It says like guys that are concerned about female body count, are they insecure about their performance or whatever? Is that guys? First, hey, wait. Wait, Peterson, I'll start with you on this one. So, like,
That is it.
men, the reason why we are concerned about female body count, is it because we are insecure?
I don't know if it's about insecurity, but for me, I'll say probably because men, we are so competitive in every aspect. If you if she tells you like, oh, I was with J and H and I, and then immediately you start thinking like, man, J and H and I, how are those guys like? How are they compared to me? So yeah, I don't know if it's insecurity, but yeah, it's from that competitive nature of men. That's what I would say.
Okay, Mel, do you? I'll pose the same question to you. Do you agree with Peterson?
Well,
Or do you think
yes.
men are concerned about female body count because of the insecurity of performance? Maybe like, hey, if I go,
That
whatever.
that could be partially true, but not holistically true. So here's what I would say to that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Men, we take pride in our ladies, right? So when you have your woman that maybe have passed with 4 or 5 men, and you guys are within the same community, here's what comes to mind, right? You go into an occasion, right? And you go there with your lady
Oh
and you
boy.
see one or two of her exes. No, I mean this is real, guys. Let's talk about it. What that brings to mind, you step in there, you know her ex or exes, and they are at that occasion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what were you thinking about as a male, from a male perspective? Like I said, we take pride in our
What
women.
are you thinking about from your
I would
point of
say
view?
that, AB,
Yeah. What are
I'm
you thinking
driving at that.
about?
Hey,
I'm driving at that. And
Yeah,
What are you
what
thinking about?
comes to mind is, okay, the
Mhm.
two guys here, I'm here
Mhm.
with my lady, but these two guys have seen her.
Mhm.
That right there diminishes us as males. So it ties into what Peterson
Why?
just said.
Why should it diminish a man by saying her ex, his current wife or girlfriend with
ask me,
seeing
Abe,
her ex?
ask him.
What I mean, what does that have
His
to
spirit
do any
from
diminishing?
It tempers with ego.
it does. It
That's
does.
what we
And
said.
that,
It's
that
about
is
the ego. That's what she
it's
said.
So you
it's
guys
spirit.
agree with
Yo,
the
you
lady?
see my cat
So
hot
Maybe
wait,
maybe
ladies,
when we're
wait.
talking, you gotta give us a little bit of time. Let's land. We
No,
can't
no,
we
we
can't
gotta
just
Nothing,
you can't leave me hanging when I'm
nothing wrong
talking
with a
and
healthy
asking a
ego. So
question.
I don't know what Miss B was
Okay,
choosing
okay.
for.
Titus, wait. Let Mel finish his. I mean, let
Yeah,
Mel
let
finish.
me end my statement. So yes,
Okay.
what I'm trying to say is that when you enter in that room, we take pride in our woman. We do as men. I do. I don't know. I will speak of a few other men, not
Absolutely,
everybody,
brother.
but a lot of us do. We take pride in our woman. And you don't want to go in an environment knowing your wife, your ex, or your wife exes are there. That right there, and few other people know. Right there, you kind of looking at it like, oh my God, this is not a good thing. So that's why sometimes we take pride in it and we are concerned about it. But to answer to kind of point out to what Miss B said earlier about, men having ego and we cause it, I would say, Miss B, yes, that is true. To that statement you made, because sometimes what that does to us, if you we ask you and you kind of say, oh, you did this, and people discuss we create that environment to have you have that closed mind, to not be open for you to discuss those type of things with somebody you've met, with the fear of not being judged, with the fear of not being put down or losing someone else. So in totality, you tend to withhold those important information.
Okay, so I want to push on you, but let me go to Titus. Titus, I mean, Mel mentioned the insecurity when you enter, like if you go somewhere, you see your wife exes or your fiance exes, and then boom, why do you think? Is it because men are having a conversation among themselves about different females? Is that why maybe that insecurity is coming about?
Well, the ego aspect is
No, no, the
very true.
insecurity. Well, okay, I
The
want to
ego
jump
aspect
on.
is very true. But yeah, it does breed some form of insecurity because a man will start to his mind will start to wander, right, about all kinds of stuff. Again, not just seeing an ex.
The woman is with you though. Why should your mind
How
wander?
many how many exes are in the room? How small or big is that room for that woman? These are realities for men, and you could choose to believe it, discard it, or just try to understand a man. So I mean those things, and nothing is wrong with ego. I see my sisters here jumping up and down when we admit to ego. You need ego to be a competitive person, like Peterson says. Watch the sports that we all spend life watching on and paying money to watch. There is a healthy aspect of ego. It promotes and enables your self-confidence. So nothing is wrong with ego. I think there is just the level of maturity, the way you are handling these situations can make ego become self-destructive. But a healthy ego is great. And for
Okay.
every man, I must say, you need some level of ego to
Patience,
function
go
as a
ahead.
man.
Patience, go ahead. Patience, go ahead.
So when y'all go around using your master key, do you guys take us into consideration when we go out there and your exes
Conquering the
Thank
world.
you.
are in the same space and
Uh,
we hold our head up like, yeah, whatever he did is your loss. This is
okay.
mine now. When you
Okay.
guys are
Thank
sharing your
you.
passion,
Yes.
you guys
You see how it is?
think about the
Wait.
impact it had on us too.
Yeah. Okay, wait. So, Titus, I'll let you take that. I'll let each of the guys here address that question. Titus, go first.
You see the dynamic there? The dynamic changes because, again, if you're competing for something and you win, there's a trophy. In reality, 99% of women want to be trophies. In
Hmm.
reality, in reality, 99% of men want to win the trophy. Women want to be treated like trophy, and we want to win the trophy. So the dynamic will always be different when it comes
Okay.
to the man versus the woman.
Okay, Peterson, I want you to answer. I want you to address that same to answer patient question.
Yeah, so I think we the men we actually need to learn like what patient just said. If uh, you walk into the room, the women, if they're looking, she's gonna be like, "Yep, now he's with me. This is your loss. Like he's my king now. You you are grooming a little cub. Now he's my king." And for us men, is the complete opposite. If we, a lot of us would be like, "Man, I'm walking into this room. Look at all these guys," and immediately that's what our mind goes to. It doesn't go to like, "Yeah, this is like the prize I've won her." Like the same thing she said to say for the men to say, "Oh, I want her. This is your loss. See, like she's looking good by my side." We don't even consider that. We our mind just goes straight to, "Oh man, there's this guy here, this other guy here," and I think we need to take some lessons from the
Okay.
women on that part.
Okay, Mel, what's your take on that?
Yeah, so we'll take ourselves back here as it relates to this topic. We talk about, women are emotional beings. I think we mentioned that the last time we talked about our previous topic, and men are physical beings when it comes to being intimate with somebody. We can have something with multiple women and have nothing, no some type of emotion with them, but women do. So those things play that impact in it. And yes, you mentioned ego. Ego for men, we should have that. We are noted as the protectors. So when it comes to protecting your partner, all of these things are part of it. You can't shield or protect somebody who you kind of seen in a position or in that position of not being protected. Yes, you with her currently, but that piece of it put you in that position to be insecure, piece of it too. And our ego drive those things. Learning lesson from what she said, yes, but to have a good number of men joining that piece, I would see that being hard because it's something by
So
nature that we possess.
if women are emotional and men are not emotional, so why when a man enter a room and see
Thank you, Abe. I'll buy you coffee. I will buy you coffee.
and
We'll buy you lunch tomorrow.
all
Lunch
accident.
tomorrow.
if you see, wait guys,
I'm not even getting
wait
any
now,
question.
wait, okay.
I already got the question before he finishes.
That's the thing.
It
You
has
said
more.
women are
It has
emotional,
more to
men
do
are not
with.
emotional. So
It has
men
more to
enter a
do with
room.
ego than
Hey,
emotion.
Tadas, please wait. You enter a room, you see your wife or your fiance with her exes. If you are not emotional, why should you care?
So you care because it has a lot to do with ego, like we keep saying here.
So
Ego is an emotion.
So emotion is not
Insecurity is a
involved in
form
that.
of emotion by itself as well.
No, but Ibby, we dive in this conversation from a different.
So let's go to the condition here. We're not. Let's say like a male is kind of
Clinically speaking, when you talk
Uh-huh.
about emotion, there's different layers. Insecurity is a form of
Okay.
emotion. The shift in
Okay.
your dynamic or your demeanor is a form of emotion by itself. It's a different
Okay.
form of emotion. It's a body language emotion. So
Mhm.
men may not emotionally feel like how we feel, granted, but your ego is a form of that as well. So you are feeling a form of emotion.
Yeah.
It's just not the way women feel it. And what
It's not on the
patient asked
same
was my
level.
question. This is what I said on this app, ladies. Men will date you for the reality, not the potential.
Yep.
So when women, we come to that space of understanding that men are dating for reality, our shoe will fit all the way it's supposed to fit. But since we refuse, so what if shoe according to it? I don't be dragging on
I'm telling you, I don't know.
Okay. Let
I
me
don't
go.
know
I
about all
feel
that, Wina.
Wait, guys. So again,
Can I address this going into the room and seeing a lot of her exes? Hello? Liberia has a population of 4 million people. The reality is, if you're dating only Liberian, you're going to bump into each other. And most of us are living in Minnesota. Most of us are in this Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center, this first ring suburb area here, right? Northwest suburb area. We're going to bump into each other. So I think this is some of the reasons why other communities don't have this problem. The likelihood, my husband's African American, but African American is so big and wide. The likelihood that I'm going to go out with him and run into his ex is very slim. And so all those things need to be taken into consideration when Liberian men are dating Liberian women. The likelihood of you guys running into each other ex is going to be very high because the population is small to begin with, right? And you're missing out on a good thing. And I know a lot of you guys are dating these people with a heavy body count secretly. Now you're serious Jew. Yes. Now you're serious Jew.
Okay, guys. Our audience out there is a load of, the comments are coming in hot. So if you also want to call,
other communities.
612-516-3349, 612-516-3349. There's a lot of conversation tonight. It's like the ladies are having fun, the men are having fun. So it's like, hey, if you want to call
the
in,
men are having fun. Everybody
somebody said that beautiful women, he said, body counts depend on.
Yeah, I was going to go to that. Wait. I was going to ask
Can I ask one question or just make a quick statement before we move forward?
Okay, patient.
So where the whole problem, people use the word ex loosely. There's certain people that is not your ex. There's
can you expand on that a little bit? Can you expand on that?
Open up a different one.
Me personally,
I'm confused on that. Who's your ex?
Me personally, anything under 6 months, we're not together.
Tell them, girl.
It was just a situation.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So if you date someone for 6 months, they're not your ex.
No.
Jesus.
We're not giving you.
I'm not going to be using the word ex loosely.
So what is it? What is the time? What is it? What is the time frame for you? So anything above 6 months
and up.
Yeah, 6 months and up.
Oh,
That's what I consider.
So my
The
question to
egos
you,
can't
patient.
handle that.
How,
The egos can't handle that.
You
wait now.
see the
Counting your numbers.
potential to increase
Spiders,
body
please wait.
count with that type of.
Yeah, wait. Yeah,
Where
Mel, yeah,
my
Mel, what's your
question to
question?
you, patient. So within those 6 months, what have someone you consider X done to you and someone who did you for 6 months done that different?
Within that 6 months, we're figuring it out. After 6 months, that's why I start looking at relationship as I'm saying for me personally, that's how I look at it. After 6 months, if you can hold weight for 6 months, then we're talking relationship. But 6 months and below, I'm here figuring out if I even want to take you serious too. And
But
you're
within
figuring out
within those 6 months, are you sexually intimate with this person?
it depends how I feel about that person sexually.
Oh, so let's say you were sexually intimate. You don't consider that person your ex.
No,
No.
you're not my ex.
Okay.
I
Okay.
experience.
Wait. Patient
A
says,
learning
let me
experience.
let me go around the room and ask the lady.
Do
Patient
you
says 6
do
months.
you include that number in the body count?
Miss B,
No,
Miss
that's
B.
why I said don't consider it as a body count.
Okay, Miss B, what's your time frame?
For my ladies that been getting it tough and being stereotyped, I agree and I support that. You
You
not
agree with it,
counted.
6 months, 6 months and
Yes.
up.
If
Okay,
you not
okay,
counted,
thank you.
if she's not counting you, you don't count. Period.
Okay, thank you. Winner, what's
We were
your time?
cousins. We were cousins. Get it together.
That's my little brother.
No, you are.
Okay, guys.
You're funny.
That's my little cousin.
First of all,
Okay.
Abe, all joke aside,
Mhm.
before I'm like you talking to a wall before in the first few months to me, anyways. Before you, it's like a wall. So you're right. I don't know you. You don't know me. We're just hello and hi. We converted.
Okay. That's good. Thank you, guys.
Let's go to the beauty one.
Okay, yeah. So I'll start with the ladies. So it's like, does beauty hair play a role? Like, I mean, someone mentioned one of our commenters said beautiful women have higher body counts and ugly women have lower body count. What is your take on that, lady?
he said, he said, he said
That's
not
your
a
lie.
Well, ugly, just say ugly. Just say ugly women have lower body
Oh
count.
boy,
Fine women have higher body count. I will
Oh,
start with
No,
Miss B. What's your take on that?
no, I don't believe that because again,
Mhm.
men don't want to count the unattractive ones. They will only talk about the beautiful ones. But that does not mean unattractive
Oh,
women are not getting
so
unattractive women are getting play. Yes, they
so
are.
so are you saying ugly women are not included in men body count? Only fine women are included in men body count?
Yes, because men are going to talk about the Jew that everybody finds attractive, and everybody's probably been there already, done that. They're going to more talk about because they want to be included in the numbers and want to be a part of the conversation. They're not going to talk about the women who aren't attractive that they are also sleeping with too. Like you said, men, you guys don't care about looks. 90% of the time, you don't care what she look like physically, in the face or body. It depends where a situation grasps you at, in what corner you're in, and yes, then you're going to make your choices based on that. Your decision will be
Okay,
made based on your environment. It has
okay,
nothing to do with her looks.
okay. Peterson, what's your take on that? Men, let's go. What Miss B says. So are men only counting attractive women in their body counts and not the ugly women? Do you agree? Do you agree?
I don't know.
And why you
I'm
gotta be
not sure
ugly?
about
What's
If
that.
wrong
you
attractive?
Non-attractive.
no, no, let's
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So, I mean,
thank you.
other people might think that person is not attractive, but there's something that attracts the man to that person. So,
okay.
I think
And
that still counts.
right there, I'll bring this comment up. Thompson is saying beauty is relative though. Who determine whether someone is beautiful or attractive?
Exactly.
But here's the thing. But let me just push this further. Why
Trying
if
to
the
be
entire
modest.
community know, like okay, the other chamoya she ugly, oh, and then so it's like, I mean the men on here. If you happens to go with that female, are you going to count her in your body count or no? If everybody know, if it is acceptable among like we men here, and she's ugly, Is it? I mean, are you going to count that in your body count or no?
I'll say yes.
Body count is body count, man.
Men
So
don't
you
even
men
be
are saying,
counting body count in the
saying, let's say you men are saying on here tonight that whether she's ugly or she's fine, you
I
are counting it. Tadas,
yes,
are you counting the ugly one in your body
body
count?
count. Body count is body count. If you're on the battlefront and a child with a gun point at you and you bullet him, he died on body count.
So
Body count is body count.
Linda is saying here, like the men here are not being truthful.
They're not.
No, she said if you don't make her come, you don't it don't count. So that's why
That's
nobody
true.
space.
My if I said we don't have a child together, you're not my ex. I
Are
only
you
got one ex in
serious?
their life here.
Man, you guys
Are
are
you
pushing it. You
serious?
guys are very pushing it. You guys are
Are you
you
serious?
guys
Now
are
you
very
see,
pushing it. You guys are very pushing it. But here's the
I
thing.
agree.
Let me just take a
very
quick
interesting.
pause here. We have I'm gonna give you guys 35 more minutes on this show because the comments are coming in hot. You guys are very hot on this one tonight. So we have 35 more minutes to go on here. If you are listening to us and you want to contribute to the comments, you can do that as well. If you want to call us 612-516-3349. 612-516-3349. And the topic tonight is, should you disclose your sexual history to your partner? Does body count matters? What are the pros and the cons? Does it matter? Contribute to the conversation is very hard. Okay, in our community, Ms. B alluded to earlier that we are not having this conversation enough, and we need to have it. And that's why this community show, Inner Circle Parkia, decided to have this very important conversation. And our panelists here are doing a great job, like bringing all kind of angles. Patient said, for her, 6 months and below, you're not part of her body count. You know what I mean? So, guys, with 35 minutes left, what do you think we can do to improve this conversation in our, especially in our community, like the whole body count thing? How can we just remove the negative aspect from it? I will start with you, Mel.
Well, I think it's just creating awareness, creating the importance of talking about issues that affect, the community. So, such as this, right? People being afraid of talking about the past because of the stigma that have been created by us, and creating that fear to have open conversation. I think it needs to start with that, talking about it, creating awareness, and people channeling these things, so then we are all open minded. It goes deeper than just what we're talking about. So creating awareness, bringing people together like we're doing now tonight. We're talking about it. We opening people's mind on these kind of things. So these little things help in kind of just creating that awareness.
Okay. And then, like, so the commentary Thompson is very coming with some interesting comments. Patient, I think that is to you. If you're thinking about 6 months below, while Liberian community body can come and drop, with that, what the man say. What's your reaction to that?
Let it drop because you don't be counting your bodies when you're bringing your body to us. So you shouldn't be counting our own bodies too.
Okay.
We move.
Okay, we move. That's a great one. But how can we remove the whole negative aspect from the whole body count thing? How can we make it a serious conversation in our community? What can we do? I mean, Mel said we should create awareness. What kind of awareness do you suggest for our community?
Well,
I
I
think
don't know
talking
much.
about it tonight. Go ahead,
Let Miss
patient.
B, yeah, patient.
Go, patient.
Patient.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know much about the creating awareness thing. I think men needs to come to the realization that if you find someone you love them, regardless of what their past is, that's their past. That was before you. First of all, you don't know what that person has been through that got them to where they're at today. Because when we accept you guys, we accept y'all for who you are. And we love on y'all and grow with y'all, help y'all become the man y'all want to be. So I believe men needs to find a space and find themselves, try to understand themselves and create a safe space for your partner, because once your partner feels safe with you, this conversation comes easily. And mostly it shouldn't even be a worry of the body count. It should be more of how healthy you are coming into the relationship. These are the conversations we should be having. Like, let's go do our tests together. We're deciding to be sexually active. Let's go to the hospital, run some tests, and make sure that we're good, because you're building a future with this person. Their past is their past. Whatever happened back there happened. Let's learn how to move forward instead of holding this whole body count and how many men think. If you know you can't handle it, don't put yourself in that situation.
Okay. How I say if you say don't put yourself in that situation, what do you mean? Expound that a little bit.
If you know within yourself that this whole body count thing is important to you, go find a virgin.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you, thank you. Uh, Titus, do you think we need sexual education in our community, maybe starting from a young age, and do men, especially the men, do we need sexual education? The women here seems to be like they don't need it because for them it doesn't matter. Do you think overall we need sexual education in our community?
Yeah, absolutely. I think sexual education is pertinent in our community, and thankfully in schools at certain levels and ages for younger students, I believe they're teaching it based on the maturity and the developmental level. So, and in our families too, African families, talking about sex and sex activities is a taboo. um, it's been that way for a very long time. So we cannot disregard the cultural, backing for this type of conversation. We need to be more open, have these conversations with your kids based on their level of understanding. But I wanted to throw something at patience because I absolutely agree with what she said that men should come into this relationship finding
Mhm.
themselves. You have to really discover who you are and come with a healthy being and want to share that being with that person. But on the other side of it, you can't just say that men should just come and accept, and if it's something that they can't deal with, they shouldn't get into it. Women must take responsibility because it also says something about a woman, right, who is at a certain age and has a certain amount of body count. What
What?
happened?
Let me hold you there. Let me hold you there, Tyler. You said women should take certain kind of responsibility. What happened to the men? Why should responsibility only fall on the men, but not only fall on the
No, I
women? But
just I
He
just
acknowledged that.
alluded
He
I just
acknowledged that.
alluded to
okay,
patience
okay,
that
okay,
men should be responsible and come with a healthy, perspective and a healthy
okay,
discovery of who they are. But we
okay.
cannot partially discuss this. It has to be holistic. So the women also who feel like that this is nothing, even though some men care about it, should try to understand why men care about it. What happened? What do you think
But
causes
you
that? What is
aren't you putting too much burden on them to for them to if they are
aren't they
free
putting too much
if they
burden
are
on the
free
men
if they
also?
are free spirited they coming with an open mind. Why can't you come in with an open mind instead of the body count stuff, right? Both partners come with body count. One the female is comfortable with it. Why not? Why shouldn't the men be comfortable with it?
Because to love a man is to understand a man. If a female wants to love a man, you must try to understand a man.
So
So
why
I
not?
believe
So shouldn't the man also understand the female?
both ways. Love is understanding.
Okay,
Love is
patient.
understanding.
What? Okay,
So
patient.
having that conversation and take and
Okay,
owning to that responsibility and kind of self-evaluating, why did I have so much or so many body counts within
okay,
this age of my lifespan should be
okay,
something that the female should also think about.
okay.
Don't
Thank
just
you.
get comfortable and say, "Oh yeah, that how we are." You can't, not like it corner side.
That's what
Okay.
the man can
Okay.
say. Man could
We
be
not.
man.
We not. Patient, go ahead.
Okay, so like this, like when I just said, you usually said men will be men or whatever you can say. What difference does it make if she tell you, say, I have been with X amount of people? What is it? What value is it adding on to you as a man?
Okay. Titus, you want to take that?
I think originally when we discussed, we pointed out a lot of healthy reasoning behind having this conversation openly. We
Mm.
talked about the health concerns. What is your past like? I mean, what is your decision making like? It builds trust when you're able to have these conversations and be open about it. And I also defended that men should not be approaching the conversation from a judgmental perspective, so that they can create more safe space for women to openly talk about it. So these conversations are very important. they should be held for all of those healthy reasons that we've talked about.
Okay, Miss B.
No, I was gonna say I think it is going to take the same men that have helped to create a bad narrative and stereotype. It's gonna take the same men to go and undo that harm that you guys have done. Because I feel like a lot of people are missing out on the possibility of building something really good together because of the harm that has people have done. Like the lying about sleeping with somebody when you know you really haven't. That too, it has caused a lot of harm, right? And needs to stop.
Um,
And so
so you
I
you
think, huh?
you are saying you have men that lie on themselves.
Like Brit making
Yes.
laugh.
I've been making lie
Yes.
on themselves a
I
lot.
see Peterson is
Yes.
in agreement. That's the reality. Like they
Shoot.
will lie and say because the rejection is a thing. When they get rejection, like if she's been known to be with multiple people and then it comes to you, like, oh, but she already sleep with everybody. What? Why not me? It's because maybe she's at the point to this is the turning point in her life. Like Titus talks about
Mm.
it. I'm 35. I've been there, done that. Now I want to be mindful and be selective, have expectations around my decisions and my options. And so I know I'm not trying to do that anymore. And so now, hypothetically, Mel and Titus and Peterson come along, and they both get rejected. I mean, all three of them get rejected. Now they're going to be carrying and adding more harm to what's already been harmful for her past, right? And so I said, these are the men. It's up to you guys to kind of undo some of that harm. Good
So
people are missing out on each other.
so some of the female body count or the body count associated with females, those I mean some of those figures are not accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, they're
Yep.
not.
They're
They're
not.
not.
They
They're
Okay.
have to
not.
go be out here lying for no reason.
The men
What
body
what
count.
And
no
so what's gonna happen is we're gonna call
uh,
Titus,
uh,
and Titus won't know. I got people on the phone. Oh,
mhm.
but ma, didn't say that. Oh, who told you? And that's how we catching some of y'all in your
Yeah, that's
lives.
exactly how we're catching them these
And
days.
then
That is
showing up and
Oh,
be
so
like,
you guys, so
yes.
yes, yes,
so
yes.
there's a secret code out there. Females have secret code out
Yes.
there.
You
You're
got
Putting
giving
you
the
know
uh,
you
code
got to
out.
lie on
guys,
me.
You're
Because
giving the code out.
we in a way some of y'all can be begging. Oh, it's
uh,
so disgusting.
so okay. Wait,
Talk
Peterson,
about it,
Let me
Miss B.
respond.
Talk
Let me
about
respond.
it.
no. Mel, wait. I saw
Okay.
Oh
Peterson
my,
nodding to the
sorry. Oh, let me
Miss
calm
B,
down to give up to
Miss
you.
B. I
No.
saw Peterson nodding to the
Whatever more hot to
female.
now.
So, do you think men are lying on themselves in terms of maybe if they date a woman
Ego.
or they are not dated a woman or they are not slept with a woman and they are claiming that hey I slept with her. Is
Yeah,
that
so it's like what I said last week is this idea of fitting in. So if you have a group of men talking about, oh yeah, I've been with this girl, this girl, this girl, even if you've been with only one or two, he's probably going to come out and be like, oh yeah, me too, this one, and unbeknownst to her that he's making this claim, and then when she gets to find out and like, wait, what? I never did that, and that's what she's talking about. They're catching these guys up on the lies and things like that because men are, and it's the same thing they said earlier. It's our ego, this competitive nature, like. Oh, if he has two, I have to up that and say, yeah, I've been with three, even though you haven't. So it's just the way a lot of people are wired, and that's why I was nodding when she said that.
so do you think men then have a
Real quick,
responsibility?
Abe, does the number
Wait.
down? No, the
Yeah,
number, does it work? People want to call
yeah,
in.
yeah.
Okay.
The number works. So, do you think to the men on here, not only you, Peterson, but I'll start with you. Do you think that men have a responsibility to hold each other accountable?
Of course.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, men do have the responsibility to hold each other accountable because we kind of encourage this behavior from other men. So if you are in the company of other men and such conversation comes up, it's up to us to actually hold that person accountable and say, okay, is what you're saying true, or you just saying it because you want like to fit in? So, and the whole thing about the question you asked earlier about having like awareness or how can we take this negative impact away? It would take re-education because, like everybody said, our culture, this is something that is taboo. So now that we are in this society and our generation, it's something that we need to be open about and come to the table with an understanding or with the curiosity to try to understand, because each person's background is different. So if somebody gives you a number, we shouldn't come to a with this judgmental interpretation like, whoa, you meet that many, like who are you, and stuff like that. So we should try to understand.
Mel, if a friend of yours say, "Hey, I slept with that girl," and find it's not you, are you gonna call him out?
I would first of all I would tell you, men, real men, true men will not talk
Don't
about
be
women they
telling
slept with.
who you sleep with.
Real
I would
men,
tell you
go
that.
ahead.
Real men.
Real men will not talk about a lady they slept with. So
Come on.
men that do that, they are
Yep.
What's
kids.
the difference? So what's the difference between a
Well,
real
you're
man and
very
a fake
slim
man?
around here.
But I
What's
just
the
Real
what's
men
the
don't
difference
gossip.
between a real?
Don't
Oh wait,
gossip.
guys, wait
Talk
now.
about it, Mel. Talk about it.
What's the difference?
we
What's the
women,
difference between a real man and a fake man?
as it relates to what we're
Very fake
talking
man.
about, right?
Yep.
I would not,
Kids versus men.
It's the level of
I
maturity. That's the
personally, right?
difference.
I personally will not talk about a woman who and I went in the bedroom and did things behind closed door and go sit down with a group of guys and be like, I slept with a person. What am I trying to accomplish? Or what am I
Right.
trying to get from it? So real men are meant told not to do that. If a woman open up herself to you, she respect you, she trusts you. And that trust should be maintained by you. So there are good guys out here that will not do that. Kids, like Peterson said, there are guys that just want to show up, talk about things, and make themselves look cool. You know, that's immaturity. Immature men will not do that. So let's balance the conversation tonight. Immature men will not sit down and be like, "Hey, I slept with X amount of women," and
You mean mature? You mean mature men?
I mean,
Mature
mature men. Sorry, I mean mature men. They will not do that. Sit down and talk about somebody and them kind of plan things and went behind closed door to do it. The reason we
Boys,
go behind
boys do
closed
it.
door to be intimate, it should be private. If we decide to bring it out here, it should be both of us' decision to do that.
Rina, do you agree that only fake men discuss women, but real men
I'm
don't
dead.
discuss women?
I don't know, but we won't say fake men, but immature, yes, insecure, yes. But
Boys.
I agree with Mel. Real men that are like intellectually up there are not having those conversations with the people boys, and so absolutely.
Right.
But you said okay. Let me take you on that.
But they will be amongst
You
them
said
and
men
they'll
are
be
insecure. You
listening.
said men are insecure. You
Mhm.
mentioned earlier that men are insecure. So why don't you think if men are insecure, like maybe like if I see a fine girl and maybe I try to sleep with her and she refused and I'm sitting with my boys, if I'm insecure about that kind of situation, and ask me, hey, my man, what's up?
They're gonna say same thing with Peterson said, trying to fit this narrative, trying to fit in, trying to boost their ego. Everything what I see with some men is
Mhm.
an ego's boost. They need something to boost their ego. And in order to fit in that inner circle, they gotta talk. Let me just say something just brief. I knew a guy that never dated me, but he proclaimed he did. Child, I checked that man outside of the store. To this day, I'm still unblocked. Because who you lie on like that got text messages.
So
And
And
that's
you,
people
unfair.
no,
so
because
you,
they do that. You know, you would just have conversation, getting to know, and people want to like boost themselves, and like Peterson hit it. Like they really want to act like, yeah, I know Shorty, we cool. Like where you know me from? You don't know my last name, and we when I checked it, it was all a lie. Right, it was
Mhm.
all a lie, and somebody was trying to date me, and then he just kind of polluted the air, and
Oh
X, Y,
wow.
and Z, and right then and there, it just showed that maturity level with that person is what. So that also closed that
Right.
chapter. But people do that, like Miss Viva said, men will lie to make themselves feel good about that. Me
Okay.
to them like ego been a bit yesterday.
So
Okay,
where
guys. Okay,
for
wait.
mature
That's
men, they
insecurity
don't
though,
speak
and
Wait,
up
that's
Tommy.
for women in the conversation either. Like Wynn said, right? That immature man got to tell the narrative and messed up a situation with a mature man. So when
Right.
mature men are, you do hang around the immature people. Boys, y'all gather to a session. You may not know everybody there, and their immature conversation will be happening. That's when that mature men need to start to step in and change the
True.
narrative. First of all, my man, why you want to talk about the girl? This is not the place. Y'all change the conversation. Let's go on to the next. Let's keep it with sports. So you guys help. If you're not talking about it against it, that means you're in agreement. So that's
Okay,
why I
okay,
said where the mature men at.
okay.
Or
Thank
at
you.
least talk to
Wait,
her about
wait,
it
wait,
too.
wait, patient. Oh, 15 minutes left. Today, the topic is: should you disclose your sexual history to your partner when you meet your partner? Should you disclose your sexual history to your partner? The pros and cons of body counts. Everyone agree on here tonight. The panelists agree on here tonight that this is a conversation that should be had in our community. We don't have this enough in our community, in the African community, in the Liberian community. We're not having this conversation enough. My understanding is other nationalities, especially the Caucasian community, are having
That's
this
where my
conversation.
husband coming from.
Okay, are having these conversations. So our number is 612-516-3349. 612-516-3349. Please call us to contribute, or you can leave a comment in the chat. Winner, I will go back to you. You know, it's like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I mean, you are the clinician on here tonight. What do you think we can do to improve or maybe like create awareness in our community for this conversation, right? To not only be the end of it tonight, but hey, it should be high in our community. We should have that. Again, our number is 612. Let me just read. Our number is 612-516-3349. 612-516-3349. If you want to call us, please go ahead. We'll answer your call and you can contribute to this conversation. It's a loaded conversation tonight. I mean, the comment section is hot. Folks are listening out there. The panelists are going at each other. I'm learning a lot here tonight. The whole 6 month thing, the whole baby. Somebody gotta have baby before they count you in their body count.
Yeah,
I'm just
so
learning a liar tonight. It's like I must, you know, so,
Crazy.
yeah. So
Patient, you better trademark that thing, boo.
it's not,
Crazy.
it's not, so it's not easy, you
6
know.
months on 6 months or more.
No 6 months, your cousins.
Your cousins,
It
okay?
don't count. No, the
516
teacher would say 6
3349.
months don't
So
count.
anyway, while we wait for folks to call, okay, there's a call coming in here.
Okay, answer the call.
Hello. Okay, hello. What's your name and where you calling from?
My name is Moreover Chicken Soup.
Okay.
Calling from
Okay.
Greatest.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. What's your comment?
Well, interesting discussion, and I think those are things that supposed to be discussed in a relationship. I know we Africans, our culture, we have limitation on things that we discuss in a relationship. But I think telling your partner your body count is important, and sometimes the pros and cons about it. Maturity is the key here in the discussion, because sometimes some people are not mature enough to accept people's past. But I think it's important also to have this discussion, because when you are already deep into a relationship and those things pop up, it's like doing a background check. You went to apply for a job and they give you a conditional offer, but then they still running your background check. So when something pop up,
Okay.
again, it becomes an issue, but from a social perspective, and I think it is also healthy for a long marriage.
Okay.
We discuss those things, and then at first it kind of hurts, but you guys knew, and then you move above that phrase. So that's my contribution, and I want to say thank you, and I'm looking forward to hearing on the show. I know you guys know me.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Curtis.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so you hear that, right? It's like, like Curtis Brown is saying here, more of it, chicken soup is saying here, it's a conversation that needs to be had. Even though the other thing he alluded to, though, that I want to kind of hear you guys take on it. When you go, when the conversation is not had and you go into it and you find out, it's like, you apply for a job, they give you a conditional offer. What do you do at that point? Do you back off or do you continue going? Patience.
for me, I don't care about body count, so it doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Miss B, when you give someone a conditional offer and you find out a body count, what do you do?
I run away from Mr. Popular, so
Win-win. If
see
you
some of the
give someone a
judgments?
conditional offer and you find out the resume is not what you expected, what do you do?
Well, go. I mean, it depends on like how
The
far
person
you're.
is a good employee, but you find
That
out
when
maybe
let me talk about
yeah.
Latina. I can. I'm saying like it depends on how far that person you've been working on his job. Like, are you 1-2 years in the game? I mean, like he said, it is gonna hurt, but I mean, that's what it's all started from the beginning. So say yeah, nah. It's that one's a hot seat, but it's gonna hurt. I mean,
Are
Okay.
you leaving or not?
Wait. So let me take it to the guys. Let me take it to the guys. Mel, if you
Yes,
gave
sir.
someone a conditional offer, you gave a fiance or your girlfriend a conditional offer, and you really love her, and you find out in the mix of it, the resume was embellished. What do you
So a
do?
little tweaked.
For me, it's just where we're going, right? What is she doing now? What's her status? Is she still going back to these guys? That will be important to me. If she didn't tell me I didn't initiate a conversation, no, it will not be a problem in as much as she has changed and basically willing to work to move forward. But if maybe the conversation came up at some point when we started talking and she was like, oh, nothing, I'm just this, then she had that from me. For me personally, I feel like she's still hiding something and holding something back. And that would be a determining factor for me to make my decision in moving forward with her.
Okay.
that's what I wanted to say.
Peterson. If you find out the resume was embellished and you have gone, you have given employment, it's a good worker, what do you do?
Yeah, it's like what Mel said. It depends on what that person is at. Because if you are giving a conditional employment, I mean, yeah, 6 months, well, more than 6 months after after the employment, after your probation period, if I find out that this resume was made up, but have the person learned the job and I did performing right, then you just tell them like, okay, well, I guess that was in the past. Going forward, we got to be more transparent about everything else.
Okay, Titus, what do you do if the resume was embellished and you know,
The
avoid
Nothing,
resume.
employment?
nothing is wrong with a little tweak. Everybody does that. So
Okay.
your performance on the job, predicts where we're going. And if I see some struggles there, I'll have a conversation. Try to understand. I like to understand.
Okay.
And if you're open enough to have the conversation, if I have the means of guiding you and helping you, then so be it. But if like Mel said,
Mm-hmm.
if you're on the job
Mm-hmm.
and you're going back to those old ways that you try to hide from the resume, then
Mm-hmm.
obviously there is something there that you still are not ready to face. I
Okay.
mean, should we continue you on the job or kick you out?
Okay. Guys, 8 more minutes here. So it's like, again, this has been a very, very interesting conversation tonight. I think this kind of a conversation, that's what Inner Cycle Podcast was created for, right? To inform the community, to educate the community. I've gained a lot of education here tonight. So we still have 8 more minutes if you want to comment. If you still want to call, our number is 612-516-3349. Again, 612-516-3349. If you are not following us on Facebook, follow us, man. This place is, I mean, the information shared here is loaded all the time. Subscribe to our YouTube page. It's good. But guys, with 7 more minutes left, I will give each of you the last word. What is your party message to our audience tonight in terms of this? I think there's a very important conversation that needs to be had in our community. We need more educational session like this. We need more awareness session like this. What is your message to our audience tonight? Mel, I will start with you. What is your party message to our audience here tonight?
Yeah, guys. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to our audience and people that have been commenting. Interesting topic, like Avi said. My party message here is, guys, if you consider this important and you see it as something you value in your relationship from the very beginning, from the very genesis of the relationship, make that known. If you want to know and it's important to you, please just make that known so then the person you are with, they can decide to have that conversation with you. I think it starts with that. If that's something you value, but you don't want to say you value something and not talk about it, and then down the line it comes up, then it becomes problem. you don't want to know. You didn't bring that up. So talking about it later on down the line, you put yourself in that position of moving into a dark space and thinking everything else is kind of bright over there. So I would say, like again, I would say it's a personal decision. If the relationship is moving forward, you got to look at, yes, my tolerance level. Can I accept this thing? And the last piece I would say, if you cannot handle the outcome of it, if you cannot handle it to make you make that decision to say that I'll be with this person, regardless of what their past is. If you cannot handle it, don't ask. Focus on the future. I think if you can handle it, just focus on the present and focus on them moving forward from where you started to where you're going. Thank
Okay,
you,
thank you.
everybody.
Okay, thank you, Mel. Patience, what's your parting message to our audience tonight? What should the audience take away from this conversation, from your perspectives?
First, do not go asking a female for her body count if you don't see a future with her, because we ain't about to be telling our business out here. And secondly, create a safe space. I mean, once a woman is safe with you, she'll tell you anything. Like literally open her past to you. You just have to create that space, make her feel as soft as possible, and have the conversation. Like Melvin said, if it's important to you, have it. But ask yourself, if she tell me the amount of people that she has been with, am I in the position to handle it? Can I take it? And if you know you can't take it, don't ask the question. Just let sleeping dog lie and build a beautiful relationship and take it from there.
Okay, thank you. Titus, what is the message you want to leave our audience tonight from this conversation?
Oh, I told you were about to ask me about my body count, man. I'm like, no, but so an elder once told me he was like, there was a reason that God created the woman while the man was asleep.
Yeah.
And he's like, because as a man, if you don't want to know it about a woman, don't go checking because it's gonna break you. So just like everybody has been saying, if you're not ready, you're not prepared and matured enough for this conversation, don't go, opening that can of worm because you're just really going to destroy yourself, and then you'll project that on that woman, and ultimately destroy her as well. It's a good conversation to be held if you're in the position to have it. Have the conversation openly. It builds trust. It brings a lot of different healthy perspective. Like you get to know about the person's decision making. You get to understand that person and dig deeper. I mean, obviously, this is a person you want something more long term with. So,
Okay,
gentlemen, we have a responsibility as men. The judgmental mindset is only a projection of our insecurities, as we've
okay,
discussed here tonight.
okay,
So let's continue to improve, be respectful men, and always maintain a healthy sense of ego. Don't let the women tell you don't need ego. You do need it.
okay. Thank you, Peterson. What message do you want to leave our audience tonight? It's been a great conversation, great contribution from you. What message you want to leave?
Yeah, I want to say thank you to everyone, all the panelists, and everybody that's tuning. Uh, what I was going to say is that this conversation is not compulsory, it's not mandatory, but if it is something that is important to you, you can ask healthy questions. And if your partner feels uncomfortable to talk about it, just let it go. Don't push the issue to be like, oh, you must know, you must know. And like everybody said, if it's something that is a make it or break it type of thing, if it's a deal breaker for you that you must know, and what if she tells you it's only two, are you going to be happy? If she tells you, oh no, 20, then what are you going to do? So if it's something that is a deal breaker for you, then you should have that in mind. And like Peter said earlier, go look for your virgin. But
Okay,
yeah, so it's a healthy conversation to be had in our community, and because of our cultural background, it's not things that we talk about a lot, and we need to educate our generation. And having discussion like this is a starting point.
okay. Thank you, Miss B. What is your last word, your parting message to all the great folks that have been listening tonight, that have been contributing, everyone listening to you around the world? What is your parting message to them regarding this topic?
Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks for all the lovely comments that came in. One of them that somebody said, "What about women who lie on men?" No, I've never came across a woman lying about sleeping with a man. She may say she ate his money, he took her out, and he spent this amount of money and may lie about the numbers. But I've never had, anybody lie to me about sleeping with somebody when she really didn't sleep with somebody. I would say let's have more of these conversations. Let's make it a norm, right? Lives can be saved and beautiful relationships can be had if we make this conversation a norm. I would say, men, we're leaving you guys to take the charge. The call to action is, start this weekend. You're going to be out and about. Start changing the narrative, change the way the conversation is happening, right? Let's get rid of some of these stereotypes. Stop blocking, stop being blockers out there. When it comes to men having an opportunity with somebody that didn't work out for you with, right? There's a lot of good women, unfortunately, with bad past that would still make a good wife, a partner for you, and a good mother for your future kids.
Okay, thank you. Winner, the clinician on here, we'll close with you tonight. What is your message to the folks out there?
First of all, thank you guys for watching tonight. These topics are so informative and it's so needed to be held in this Liberian community, African community to be precise. Tonight my departing message would be, it's a conversation that should be had. It's not mandatory, like it was said prior, but it's a conversation that should be up there. If it's not a deal breaker, that's cool, but it's a conversation that should be had. Now, please go in there with understanding, maturity, and the tolerance window of the person you're dealing with. It sounds the same, but it's a little bit different. People tolerance level is different. They might think they're able to stomach it, but they really can't. So it's a conversation that should be had, but please take into account the maturity of that person you're dealing with and the tolerance level. Thank you.
With that, folks, you have heard it all from panelists. Great conversation tonight. Again, we are here every Tuesday, Thursdays, and then Friday we just go boom, different direction. But every Tuesdays and Thursday we are here with this kind of conversation. Or sometimes we might bring a guest on here. So thanks for tuning in tonight. It's been a great show, and we'll leave you out. It's
Good night.
So, thank you to
Bye,
everyone.
guys.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Thank
I hope
you,
you guys enjoyed the show. Keep on it again.
See you on Thursday.
Yep.
I'm back on Thursday.
We'll be back with more juice on Thursday.
You don't have to wait 6 months for that.
That's right. We got it for you twice a week. Twice
my
a
bad.
week, we got you.
Yes.
That's a good one.